Okay, so far the problems that we have discussed were based on deflection, not slope, deflection. But in today's lecture, all I am going to demonstrate is the method that you can adopt for calculation of slope, again using the Castiglianos theorem. We are going to be essentially discussing the cases of a cantilever beam. In the case number 1, you've got a point load at the free end. In case number 2, you've got a UDL, and in case number 3, you have got a couple at the free end. How can you calculate the slope at point B or at the free end? This is going to be the objective and agenda of today's session. So good evening, friends. This is Manas Patnaik, your friend and tutor. Okay, so first of all, let me take you to a little concept tour where we'll understand how to do the calculations, what differentials you need to take into account. So far, we know that if there is a point C along the length of the beam, and if you apply a load PC, due to that, there is going to be some deflection YC. This deflection can be calculated using this formula. This is something that we know from Castigliano's theorem. Del U over del PC. U represents the strain energy of the entire beam, or you can also say it is going to be equal to UAB. So your first task is to find the strain energy of the beam, and only then will you be able to move forward. We are going to be discussing about slopes, and as you can see, let me just zoom into this. There is this point D that we are talking about. We are interested in calculating the slope at point D. That means if you draw a tangent to the elastic curve at point D, the angle that it makes with positive x-axis qualifies as the slope. Okay, so loads are associated with vertical displacements or displacements. Similarly, these couples are associated with rotations or angles basically. So you did the differentiation with respect to a load for calculating the displacement. In the same fashion, here for calculating the slope, you have to differentiate with respect to the moment of the couple. Okay, so that is exactly what you need to do. And in case you are handling a torque, right? If you have a look at this arrangement from over here, from the right hand side, you will see that this has a section, circular cross section, and the torque is acting in the clockwise direction, because of which the point which was initially here will displace to this very point, right? And this angle can essentially be calculated by differentiating the strain energy with respect to the torque at this very location. Anyways, you don't have to worry about this, as I'm not going to be discussing it. This is just for your general knowledge. Can we move towards case number 1? And before that, I already have those results at your disposal. If you watch, this is the first calculation that we are going to make with the beam having a load P at the free end. This is for the uniformly distributed load, and this is going to be for the couple at this free end. Students, I want all of you to please note, even let's say you want to find a displacement at this point. Let's say this point is C. Now there is no load acting over here. What are you going to do then? Sir, we are going to create a dummy load. Okay, let's say this is going to be P0. So again, the idea is going to be very simple for deflection. What we'll do, sir, is that for finding the deflection at C, we'll simply calculate the strain energy U and differentiate it with respect to load P0 that is acting at C. Once the calculations are made, we are going to finally plug in the value of P0 as 0, and then we are going to obviously get this result. This is one way. However, today we are interested in calculating the slope. So what we will do, if you watch, we are going to apply a couple over here. Couple of magnitude M0. Even here also we have to apply a couple, because these are the two locations, that is the free end, where we have to find the slope. And here you don't need any couple. The couple is already acting at this free end. So dummy, yes, dummy, yes. In both of these cases, you have to apply some dummy couple. case 1 and case 2. Here, however, you don't need to apply a dummy couple because there is already a couple acting at this free end. I think we are good to go. Let's straight away move to the problem description, and here we go. This is going to be our first problem. What to do? What is the first step? What do you need to calculate? Sir, we need to calculate the slope at point B. Okay, point B. So the elastic curve would be in this fashion, isn't it? And the tangent to this elastic curve would be in this fashion, and the angle that it makes with the positive x-axis, that is theta b, and theta b can be calculated or can be expressed as a partial differential of the strain energy in this fashion. Let me erase this. Here we go. Del u over del m naught. Okay, please note that I have applied a couple over here. Okay, you can take it clockwise or anti-clockwise, your choice. But once the calculations are made, you have to plug in the value as 0 Newton meter or kilonewton meter, whatever it is. Right? Since there is no couple at B presently, therefore you have to apply a dummy couple. That is the entire idea. Okay, now can you do the calculations for strain energy? Yes, sir, we can. We have this formula. This is something that we've learned in our previous lectures. How do you calculate mx? So we have already taken a section, and whenever you take a section from the right, let me zoom in. Take a section from the right, this internal bending moment is clockwise. If you take a section from the left, this internal bending moment would have been anti-clockwise. So that is the idea. Okay, zoom out, zoom out. W has been written, recreated, and we've added a dummy couple whose magnitude is obviously 0. Okay. You can clearly see that mx will be, or mx is going to be a function of x, w, and m naught, isn't it? Right? So when you plug in that value over here, it is going to be squared, and then you have to integrate it, and then you have to plug in the limits also from 0 to L. So that is going to be a tedious process. In order to shorten this, what we'll do is we'll simply put this value of u over here. When you do that, what will happen is this mx square will become 2m del mx by del m. Let me just show this to you. This is what will happen. Mx square becomes 2mx del mx by del m naught. We are differentiating everything with respect to this dummy couple. Okay, so 2 and 2 will cancel out. What remains is this. This is going to be your master equation through which you can calculate the slopes easily. Okay. Now, let me focus on this portion. Let's just focus on this portion. Let's take the moment as 0. Okay. Clockwise moment minus mx, anti-clockwise moment plus m naught, and w into x, a clockwise moment at this very point. So minus wx, right? Simplify. This is what you have. Again, you can see mx has been written in terms of these 3 variables or parameters. Let's say not variables. X is a variable, whereas m naught and w are constants. Now, what to do? Sir, we can straight away put the value of mx. Mx is equal to m naught minus wx. So please note, m naught has to be plugged in as 0. So mx will be minus wx. That is the first thing. Okay. And secondly, you have to find this expression also, del mx over del m naught. So differentiate with respect to m naught. Del m naught, if you watch, del by del m naught of m naught minus del by del m naught for wx. So this is going to be 1 and this is going to be 0. So what you are left with is this, right? Okay. And if you plug in the value of m naught as 0, you also know that mx would be equal to minus wx. So far so good. Now let us plug in the values. Here we are going to put in the value of mx. Mx is equal to minus wx. So let me do that. Minus wx. Similarly, del m by del m naught is 1. Now take this as x inside the integral. It's very schoolboy stuff. It is going to be x square by 2, and the limits are going to be from 0 to L. It is going to be equal to L square by 2, and it is done. Very simple. So damn simple. Minus WL square upon 2EI. That is our result. Okay. So this was case number 1 where we had to deal with a point load. We were just interested in finding the slope. What did we do? Sir, we had put a dummy couple at the free end. Why? Sir, the reason is since we are interested in point B and there was no couple acting, so we added a dummy couple. And we saw that we had put in the value of dummy couple as 0, which made us this final expression mx is equal to minus wx, which we had plugged in over here. In case number 2, we are dealing with a uniformly distributed load. Again, the idea is going to be very simple. You have to take a section. Okay, so once you take that section, take a look. As there is no couple acting over here, so we have to add a dummy couple. Secondly, this much portion of the UDL has been recreated, and the internal bending moment, if you take a section from the right, it is clockwise. Now you need to make an equation. Again, these steps are same. I won't be repeating them again. Moment for this much chunk of the beam is equal to 0. Clockwise moment minus mx. Then you've got this w. In 1 meter, the magnitude of the UDL is w. So in x meters, it is going to be equal to wx. Let's just say we have multiplied both the side with x. Okay, and that wx is going to be acting centrally. Wx, and the distance from this end is going to be equal to x by 2. So wx by 2, one sec, wx into x by 2. This is going to be your moment. It's a clockwise case. Okay, if you want, I can zoom in. Have a look. Wx into x by 2. Here it is. A clockwise moment at this very section. Similarly, this m naught anti-clockwise will be positive, equal to 0. So far, so good. Simplify. If you watch, this mx will be equal to m naught minus wx square by 2. What you need to do is you need to plug in the value of m naught as 0. When you do that, mx will be eventually equal to minus wx square by 2. Right? This is what you've already got. Anyway, you can plug in this value later also. If you differentiate this with respect to this dummy couple, this will become 0 and this will become 1, and this is going to become 0. So that is the calculation I've made. Now we are going to be putting in these two values, one over here and the other over here. If you watch, let me just write it down. M naught, put this value as 0. So we are only left with minus wx square by 2. Here it is. Similarly, del m over del m naught is equal to 1. That's 1. Now x square will be taken inside the integral since it is a variable. The rest of the stuff can be taken outside. X square will become x cube by 3, and the limits are from 0 to L. When you plug in the upper and the lower limit, the result is going to be L cube by 3, and this 3 multiplied by 2 will become 6. Okay, just watch. This is fairly simple. That's the second result. Here we just dealt with a beam and there was a uniformly distributed load throughout the span. Case number 3, we are dealing with a couple and we are interested in calculating the slope. So there is already a couple acting. No need for a dummy load. No need for a dummy load. Okay, there is already a couple acting. You just start with the moment equation. There are problems with this. I mean, there is an issue with this case. I'll discuss it. Watch. Clockwise. Minus mx and m. This is also clockwise. So minus m is equal to 0. So far so good, right? There is a clockwise moment. Please note it. So mx is going to be equal to, if you watch, mx is equal to, if you simplify this, minus m. Okay. If you plug in this minus m value over here, the formula will become 0 to L m square dx over 2ei. So there is no variable term x. So you are left with m square upon 2ei. And if there is nothing, then x power 0 and dx. So you are essentially left with 0 to L. So your answer would be in that case m square L over 2ei, isn't it? But can the answer be positive? No. The reason being very simple. The elastic curve, if you want to take a screenshot, you surely can. Let me erase this. This angle over here with the positive x-axis has been measured in a clockwise sense. So theta b will always be negative. Let's say if here you can see at the free end we've got a clockwise couple. Let's say had there been an anti-clockwise couple, then this result would have been positive. Positive m and its square is also yielding the same result. Negative m is also yielding the same result because there is a square over here. So there is an issue, right? So in order to bring the sign convention into the picture, you just do the calculations, and finally, if you're dealing with a clockwise moment, you can simply state that it is going to be negative in nature. Okay. Now, once you've made these calculations, you can simply plug in over here mx is equal to negative m. You just plug in the value of minus m and del m by del m, del mx by del m. Okay, if you you differentiate this with respect to m, this is going to be minus 1, minus 1. Minus and minus would be plus m over ei. We are left with this. Okay, so x is your result, L is your result, so ml over ei. But please note this m has to be, place a negative sign. Okay. Right? So if you want, you can do the same calculation using the work energy equivalence also. You can do the calculation for entire strain energy first of all, and then you can then differentiate. You can, what I'm trying to say is you can avoid this or my method also. You can bypass my method also. Okay. Yeah. So that was all from my side for today. If you've got any doubt or query, do write them down in the comment section below. And if you find this content helpful and enriching, do give this video a like and share it with as many friends as you can. This is Patnaik signing off. Take care and have a nice day.